Every time. Okay.
There it is.
Hey, yes. Oh no. Hey, welcome to Curious Endeavourances Book Club, where we read anything and everything. If you haven't seen us before, we are, as I said, a book club. We read books. We then talk about books. Sometimes we write about those books. We have a blog about those books. And we have a Goodreads page about those books.
Very logical progression.
Yes. All of the links will be posted below. So every month we pick a book, and we're about to discuss this month's pick, which was Julianne's. Oh, I guess I should introduce us. So you know which one is Julianne. Okay, so it's Julianne Wilson.
Hello.
As I just mentioned. Ashley Newell.
I'm going to be the silent one today.
Today. And
Just
I'm
today.
Caitlin.
That's not normal.
I did think of her earlier when I found the volume control. I can control everyone's volume, apparently.
Ashley's spoken too much.
While trying to fix my sound issues. Yeah, exactly. I was like, interesting.
Let other people speak.
Yes, so Julianne's pick this month was Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine.
Mm-hmm.
I will hold up my Kindle because everyone else is holding up their book. I was on vacation. I had to get the Kindle.
That's okay.
I got mine on Tuesday. That's when it arrived.
Aw, that took a long time.
So that's why I still have that much more book to go. I'm trying, though. You can let me know if I should be wearing
I saw your valiant effort yesterday. You made it through quite a bit of it, so.
I'll grab a cone if I need to.
No, you don't need to. It's not your fault that it came late.
That's true. That really is unfortunate that it came late. It's a new book. They shouldn't have been low on stock or anything. Sheesh.
I think it's because of the books that my husband added to the order.
Pesky
So for the
husbands.
free shipping, you lump it all together, right? And
Yeah, of course, but God, pesky husbands every time. I tell you.
It did allow me to get next month's book for $5, so there you go.
Hey,
Same here. I was very excited about that.
I've had next month's book for over a year and have already read it twice. I'm very excited.
That's a good sign.
Yes. Look, an excuse to read it again. This month's book. I can also read the back. I have it here.
Totally your call.
I don't care. It's
Whoever
your
wants
pick.
to do that.
Sorry, my husband showed up and I didn't even see him until I heard him sit down. It's like, what is this noise? What is the cat doing?
Not the cat.
No.
He
You
grew
will see
20
him.
sizes today.
You will see him because he has been super, super needy and has had to be in my lap all the time for the last week, so
That
I'm
makes
sure
sense.
he'll show up.
Because you were gone for like 2, so he's like, you're not off the bad list yet.
This isn't even the longest you've been gone, but I hate you.
Alright. Book.
Okay, yes, I can read it. Ruthless since, okay, it probably won't match. I'm getting it off a website, so it might not match your guys's.
I will protest if it doesn't.
It's off a product description. Ruthless and supremely powerful, the Great Library is now a presence in every major city, governing the flow of knowledge to the masses. Alchemy allows the library to deliver the content of the greatest works of history instantly, but the personal ownership of books is expressly forbidden.
So far, it's exactly the same.
It is.
Okay, then it might be exactly. They usually tend to differ towards the end, I found, if it's online versus the actual.
I'll find out.
Jess Brightwell believes in the value of the library, but the majority of his knowledge comes from illegal books obtained by his family, who are involved in the thriving black market. Jess has been sent to be his family's spy, but his loyalties are tested in the final months of his training to enter the library service. When he inadvertently commits heresy by creating a device that he didn't make it. A device that could change the world. Jess discovers that those who control the Great Library believe that knowledge is more valuable than any human life. And soon, both heretics and books will burn.
That was pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
There haven't been enough new editions of this.
That's
it just
true.
came out.
That's true. I did not think of that.
That's a good point. It is fairly new. I apologize for making at least you, Ashley, buy like the hardcover, but
It's okay. I found an awesome book that I want to do for next year that's brand new. Probably not worth it at all, but yeah.
Can I
Like
just say I love the
$28
Groot in the background? I have to interject. There's a Groot behind you, and it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
Dancing Groot.
I
Dancing
can't
Groot.
even see it.
Everybody do the Groot.
We
I'm
are
sorry, I
Groot.
totally interrupted you. New book for next year. I'm excited.
Justin, Ashley, you're gonna make me cry.
He lives forever. Come on.
We are Groot. Okay, totally relevant. Trees, books.
Sure, we'll go with it. We can roll
Living
with that.
forever through your writing. Totally.
We can totally go with that.
I got there.
That's thematic. That's how they preserve their dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
There.
That much of a
I was
tangent.
totally just gonna say, but that would spoil something for Ashley. Ashley, how much can we say?
I can mute myself in a quiet corner so you don't have to worry about that. 'Cause I'm trying to finish.
I feel like we're gonna end up talking about something she hasn't read regardless.
It's highly possible.
I can go in the...
But we can start off by just discussing like the actual library itself. That's pretty.
Our general impressions
That
thus
too.
far.
Thus far.
Okay. All right. So they give like the little history blurbs and all that, and like the Gutenberg press and how people are still trying to bring the printing press. So I was right. I made a prediction last month, and I'm like, it's totally the printing press, and voila, it's totally the printing press that is heresy. I mean, burning books is also heresy, but printing books is heresy. So you can't win either way.
No, you can't. Could you imagine being an author? Can anyone
That
be
was one thing I was wondering. I'm like, are there ever new books? Like, there's the journals.
Aside from
They
journals,
add the journals to the collection,
And
but
if you're a
you never
library,
hear about.
yeah.
You never hear about a new book being produced. They're always preserving
true.
the other authors.
Unless you're a scholar, in which case you can write papers, which are preserved. But even
Yeah.
that's not a new book.
Yeah, but there's no books. It's all information.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I would wonder if somebody did write a book, the library would probably be like, hey, we wrote this thing.
But given the intense need for preserving, the knowledge is power idea, and they mentioned it with Gutenberg, but the thing that I couldn't figure out, and this is just me and my nerdy literary history-ness, so this probably only bothered me. Why are so many things allowed to be printed in translation? Because before the printing press, the big heresy was allowing the commoners to have access to it in their own language, especially the non-prominent ones, which English was always considered to be a bastard language that wasn't worthy of it. So everything was either Latin, Greek, or some of the allowable languages. And every book that Jess has, throwing around comes with an English translation. They're all the people at the school are speaking English and working in English.
Yeah.
Now, are we just assuming that because
I just
it's
think
written
that
in English?
if we're talking about the
Uh-oh.
That's unfortunate.
the classics and the approved languages, so I protest.
No, but are you just assuming that it's in English because it's written in English?
Well, but not just.
He's also from England.
Yeah.
He is from England, but England they learn Latin. So
he said he hadn't learned
reference
Greek.
to his poor classic language.
They do talk about a book that was written in Chinese and has been translated into English. So they do have translated texts, and they seem to be okay with that idea of translation. And the thing about the so there was the Gutenberg heresy, and then there was the idea of allowing women to read the books, which was a heresy that they were allowing. So it just, I think that there was and again, it's just my own personal, like, but wait, this was a big issue. People were literally burned in hot oil for trying to translate a book in its original language into English because that polluted the value of the sacredness of the written word because it moved the power down.
Yeah.
I would want to know, like, in the history of the library, where that became available, because I mean, it's still the Library of Alexandria, so it wouldn't have been English all along.
No, and well, the Library of Alexandria would have been post Alexander the Great because they still had the Ptolemies that were overseeing it. So they already would have the Latin and the Greek influences because they became a Roman province. So those ones would still be preserved. Some of the more ancient languages, probably like Aramaic and whatnot, would be preserved. Some of the other ones would be permitted, most likely, just given the history of it. So they'd probably still allow for Italian or Spanish. And Eastern languages, because Eastern languages having the solid history of knowledge that they do. So they would be preserving things in dialects of Chinese and possibly Urdu or things like that. But just the idea of how acceptable English is, and I would have liked even just a little blurb that covered why that's now permissible, because I mean, even the idea that no one in England could score the high marks on the examination test for
I
the
love that.
library
I got the
one.
highest score.
But see, I would even equate that as like, again, this literary word, as a linguistic disadvantage, because if everyone else is writing it in the language in which they speak and in which the works are printed, then English being seen as a low bastard language, people who naturally speak that language would be a disadvantage. So that's where I think it had potential to grab more of that historical fact. But again, that's not the book or the author's fault. That's just me being like, but what about this? What about this?
You never know. It might
That's
come
just
up
me
later in
being
the
particular.
series. Who knows?
Anyway, that's not my big general impression. That was just
A little mini rant.
we should talk about the library, and I'm like, but it's missing something. Why aren't they make more heretical claims about, no, you speak English, you're not allowed to be a scholar? Oh, guys, that's how it goes. That was like all of like Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code was, no, we can't put anything in English, but we will because no one reads English.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't actually even think about that aspect of it, which now I feel kind of silly for. But I didn't even think of that.
Again, what I focus in my studies is not what most people would deem interesting.
I really got to stay away from that.
General impressions.
I'm the one who hasn't finished the book. I should have. Okay.
No,
so far.
Actually, we can even hold yours for later if you want. Like, you don't have to. If you don't.
No, I'm here now.
Okay.
And I'm not one easily devastated by spoilers, so that works out. There's some people who are like, oh no, you told me like one obscure thing about the end. I can't read it now.
It really depends. For me, it depends what the spoiler is. Normally, I don't mind, but some people tell you things, you're like, well, now I can't enjoy the book.
I feel like there's probably nothing that we can say that'll come out of completely out of left field.
No, we have enough left that.
I'm really close.
Yeah.
Really, really, really close.
You are.
Especially because the thing about the way the book is set up, though, is that a lot of things that would be like. Everyone keeps freezing tonight.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say the way the book is set up, like all those little ephemeras, kind of negate spoilers because they usually give you bits of information way before you need it.
By the way, this person's betraying you. Oh, okay. We haven't read that part yet, but okay.
My favorite part is when Wolf writes a letter, like it's like in the middle, and he says like, "You threatened me, you threatened my lover," and as soon as he said lover, like, "Please be Santi, please be Santi, please be Santi." I was gonna throw the book if it wasn't.
I love that train moment.
It's like I'm looking for
when I finish the book, I'm going to put an award down about that because it was the best. I don't know, secret coupling.
It was so good.
I mean, it froze for a little while, but I'm assuming you're talking about Wolf and Santi.
Well, what I said before is that the thing about the book is with all the little ephemera is it sort of negates spoilers.
Yeah.
And then they announce Morgan being an obscurist, like the third one in, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like there's lots of stuff that you learn way before you learn it in Jess's story because you get the ephemera. And then I said how my favorite was when Wolf says, "You threatened me and you threatened my lover," and my response was, "Please be Santi, please be Santi."
And then it was. But I love how no one really addresses it. Like there's that moment of, oh, they're both wrapped in a towel. Okay. I'm processing it, but we're moving on. And then there's another moment he's like, still processing, but moving on. Like
my favorite is when I don't know if Ashley's there yet. Okay, little spoiler.
When he goes to their place?
Yeah, he goes looking for Wolf, so he just finds out where Santi lives, and he goes there, and Santi opens the door. He's like, "I'm looking for Wolf." He's like, presumptuous but accurate. He is here. Yeah. This is where he lives.
Yeah.
Like, yes. OTP. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just loved them. That was probably my favorite
They
part
are the best couple in the book, because the other ones are just like, predictable, cliche, we've seen this.
I was going to be so mad. I was going to be like, why did you not make them a couple?
No, they had to be. They had to be.
I know. But I like that it wasn't also in your face. Like, they didn't have all those little touch.
They're together, but they still do their job, damn it.
Exactly. Like, it's not blatant, like, oh, they're clearly together. No, it's like, I hope they are. They might not be, but I really hope they are.
And then they get in each other's face about, like, how they do their job and all that. And it's no one likes you. Well, if you think that the people who are my friends I don't like either. A little bantering.
So cute. So cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think, Caitlin, I emailed you after I finished, and that was like my first comment was like, Wolf and Santi.
Yes.
So good.
Love, love, love.
So clearly the library is not entirely opposed to that as heresy.
I think because more yeah.
I mean, they don't say that they endorse it, but they
allow it.
I feel like for them, they just care more about the controlling knowledge. So it's like.
But the idea is the heresy police that they are.
Yeah.
They have the right and ability to be as nitpicky as they want about anything, and that one they're not overly concerned with. So, for as backwards as a lot of their things are, they're also very progressive.
I know, it's very mind-boggling. Like, guys, make up your minds.
Because they're even totally different ranks and different sections of working for the library, so it's like their creeds don't even match up there.
No. True. But I love them.
Dario's still not off the hook with me though, because having worked at an international camp where you get kids from everywhere, the moment he was introduced, I had the kid that was him in my head, and this whole time I'm just like, nope, want to kick you through a wall, nope.
Well, what's her face? The fact that Kalia, the fact that she starts going to why him? Why him? It doesn't have to be anyone.
Yeah, she's so strong and independent. I
know. She's so
none of them are worthy of her, then.
And he's not.
He's still an arrogant douchebag.
But I'm really curious to
He
see where that's
softens a little bit, but it's not better.
I'm curious to see where it goes, though, because like he does
Yeah.
improve a little bit by the end, not massively.
Not enough.
But a
But
little
again,
bit.
I've met this kid. That doesn't get better.
Clearly, the author met him too. She knows.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully he will prove you wrong in future books.
And I'm like, oh no, I really don't want to spoil things for Ashley.
I know.
I'll put it this way: when does he get to live and others die? Hello. Certain lovely others.
It's true. It's very true. Mind you, honestly, like,
Oh, it
you
had to
wouldn't feel
happen.
quite so gut-punched if he was the one who died.
No, and it had to happen because that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
Well, all his lackeys died, so
Yeah, sure.
I guess you couldn't take the entire posse out. Right, because his lackeys were the first ones to go. They lost Guillem and they lost Joaquin and
Yeah.
Blah blah and so.
yeah. So his lackeys are gone.
I barely
You can't
remember.
eliminate the whole pot.
Every time that his lackeys got mentioned, I was like, who is this again? I don't care.
I know. But no, I love that Jess never put up with his crap. Like, even at the beginning, when the guy stole his clothes, he
wore his
walked into his. Like,
Problem solver. Jess is a problem solver, if nothing else.
yeah.
Like, I liked Jess as a protagonist too, because you could tell like he had his struggles, and he wasn't the brightest, and he wasn't the.
Yeah, he wasn't too perfect, but he wasn't like the dashing main character person, or like the rebellious one. Like he's
like, yeah, no, he just kind of like, I'm just here. I don't have anywhere else to go. I can't really go back.
Yeah.
My dad basically told me I can't go back, and I kind of, you got this sense like I'm kind of glad I'm here because this is what I want to do, book stuff. But I don't know.
Good comment, but I'm worried. I don't think it spoils anything.
just say it.
It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna happen.
No, I really don't think it does. The question is just like, what the heck is up with his brother?
Oh, I know,
Like,
right?
That stays as one of those like it's not answered at all. And
No,
I'm
it's
like,
gonna come
what the
back.
hell? Yeah,
Because
like
this is the
that
first
will
book,
come
right?
back. But like, why? Like, I don't like what? Why is his brother in Alexandria like shadowing him? Well, what's going on?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that was the whole idea of, I think, partially keeping an eye on Jess because he does have valuable information that could, turn the whole family in, and making sure that they have access to those great resources and all this. So,
guessing his brother will become a threat to him in later books.
Oh yeah.
Like, because like his brother's
they
stupid.
Well, his cousin already said, your brother's not going to stand for the idea that you hand-delivered this copy to me, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, and that's the thing is like his cousin.
Frederick knows that that's.
Fun side note, I liked Frederick too.
I did. I was gonna say like he's part of the
He
family.
adopted the baby.
Paul.
Like, he's a good guy. He's just in the family business. Okay.
Well, that was the thing, like, because we first get that, childhood experience with Jess, where you learn the smuggling and the running and all that, and when he first realizes that sometimes they do sell to corrupt people that actually don't want to preserve their books. I mean, that was horrifying. That was a horrifying way to start. And he starts eating the book, and I'm like, what? I mean, I was this close to thinking of reconsidering who we gave the villainous villainy award to. But I'm like, no, gang rape is still worse. Gang rape is still worse. But this is really close.
I think that's when you finally like connect with Jess because you're like, okay, yeah, his dad's making to do this thing, but his horror, you're like, I agree with you.
Yeah, he's like, I just witnessed a murder, and he can't, like, he is so traumatized.
Yeah.
He's also traumatized by the lion squishing the woman, but
he's more traumatized by the book.
pages. Yeah.
As an only copy.
Yeah.
But, okay, do you remember this part? he's going. They're trying to save the books from Oxford, and Ghislaine is helping him count, and she lists that title.
Yeah.
And he freezes. And she does it as a joke, but how does she know to joke about that title?
That's true. Like, I wondered about that. Like,
of all the rare books that she could have picked, she picked the one that he watched actually get destroyed.
Do you think Ghislaine knows, like, a bit more? Because she's kind of, like, not a main character, but she sort of is. Like, she's just one of the ones that's hovering there. And
she comes in as just to be, like, the additional awkward person, because I mean you have Thomas who's also awkward, but he serves more of a purpose consistently where Ghislaine doesn't really fit.
But she also has it out for him, like, from the beginning, and I guess I get that that's also just because of, like, cultural. Yeah, but I almost wonder if there's, like, a certain degree that she, like, maybe knows something she's not supposed to. I don't know.
I don't know if it's that detailed, because that would be a really obscure thing to know.
True.
But it was just
like
the idea.
That's a good point. Like, why did she pick that particular one? Like, whoa.
Like, when it was mentioned, like, before, because, I mean, it wrapped up really quickly, because the title's there, and you're like, wait, and then you read Jess's line, and he's like, wait! and then she's like, I'm just kidding. But just the idea of, like, even if it was just, like, a copy of it, and then he could be like, oh, I'm not going to put that in the codex because I know that that's not the original, or something like that. But the idea of, no, she just made up a title, and that was the one she made up. I'm just like, oh, that's eerie. That's eerie.
Specifically supposed to, like, because I wonder, like, if that, he did say it was an extremely rare and, like, valuable book.
So she probably wonder from, like, a mental list of, like, really rare ones. Like.
Yeah, but I almost wonder, like, if that was a way of highlighting just how rare that book was supposed to have been, and, like,
possibly
almost worsening the original.
Like a disgusting
ink with
But it was a terrible reminder of the like,
no, that was horrifying. That was really, like, oh.
And it was like the first thing you read, and it was like, what kind of horrible place is this?
I don't want to live in this world.
Because he's running from the, what was it, the like fiddlers, right?
Oh, okay.
Because he gets invited to the carriage, and they're like, he might be a fiddler. And like, okay, so we have people that are going to start feeling up little boys. Yeah. And then he starts reading the book. And I'm like, this is worse!
This shouldn't be funny, guys.
I know. It's true, it shouldn't.
The bear's worst moment, I guess.
So bad. Yeah, no, I totally agree. That was a really, like, it's funny too because, like, I loved, like, right up until that I was like, oh, I love that we actually, like, come in on the action and everything, and then that happened and I was just like, horror! Like, no!
London is an evil place! I don't care what the libraries are doing. People are crazy.
Oh, that was also a good illustration too, like right at the beginning. That and I don't know what are they called. Like, are they called the, like, automatons or something?
The automatons,
yeah. That one of those just, like, scrunched a scholar on its attempt to.
That threw me off for the, like, because I know the lion statues around London, so I can picture them. But just because this book is kind of partially really, like, archaic, but also like
steampunk.
Yeah, and it didn't really get into the fact that they have these technologies and how they work for a while.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out why the automatons are there and the pages that rewrite themselves, that took me a moment of like, okay, what is going on? And then once I got into it, I'm like, okay, so we invented the iPad in the in the 11th century. Okay.
Yeah, everyone has a tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But I did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I did leave a comment on the Goodreads forum of, so it's 2025. Steve Jobs has come and gone in this world. What did he do with his life when the iPad was invented in the 11th century, before his time?
I feel like he would have been in trouble. You think he was a what?
he was either a book burner or he worked for the library, like as he was a what are they called? The alchemy people. Probably.
Obscurist?
Oh, the
Obscurist.
obscurist? I
Yes.
feel like he would have had to be, like... I don't think he would have just, like, taken all the shit from the library. Like, no
That's
way.
what I think he was a book.
He's secretly
like
making a
book
printing
burner.
press of his own.
Yeah, exactly.
Newspapers!
In their like readers and stuff. He's the one that hacks the journals.
I was going to say, Ashley, have you gotten to that part yet?
Yes, he just got his journal confiscated because
that was one
like,
thing
wait,
that...
how did that happen? And then he ripped it open. They're like, oh no, there's markings.
Yeah, I
mean,
definitely, as soon as they mentioned in the very beginning, like, everybody writes down their thoughts, like, every day. I'm like...
Even just said, I never write anything specific because my dad told me never write anything specific. Like, write everything down, but don't write specifics.
Yeah.
And then he makes that mistake later.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, it's not even your journal. It's borrowed.
But even if it was his, like, it's like...
But that's the thing, like...
Like, this is a library-supplied book, and you know they have the power to, like, add it to their chronicle later on. What means that they're not adding it
But
now?
also would be just a force of habit, right? Because you're used to doing something so often every day of your life.
Oh yeah, like they train everyone to do it because you started. That's your life's account, right? Like they preserve like the
Very
worst
convenient.
punishment, right? Like they mentioned Wolf, like all of his writings and journal have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be like training children now to blog every day about what happened, and then that moment when they're older and realize, wait, everyone else can read this? Like, just because it wouldn't have occurred to you, right? It wouldn't have occurred to you until that, until that moment, just because why would you rethink about that when you're little, right?
That does remind me, and I have no idea where the quote comes from, unfortunately, but there is a quote somewhere about how if you like try and interview somebody, they'll clam up and they'll only give you like really short answers, but give somebody a profile to fill out and they'll go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was the lexicon.
Was it?
Yeah, because that's why they had the survey people. Yeah, and they ran a whole bunch of
it was a book club
social media things because that was the idea. If they had a formal survey, no one would fill it out or give them the right information. But if they just tapped into the stuff that people want to share willingly anyway, they'd get far more information and then can customize everything towards that person. And that's how they manipulate them. I love lexicon. Actually, I was thinking quite a bit of lexicon when I was reading about this. This one isn't as adult and intense as lexicon, but still that idea of that power of the written word and who gets to have that power. Although I really appreciate it, and I'm not going to go through my stickies right now. There was Jess, when they first get to Alexandria and he's looking at the statues and he's talking about, well, it's interesting which ones we choose to preserve and why we preserve them, because that's also a sign of knowledge, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It's not written doesn't mean it's not a show of man's works and thoughts. So I thought that was really interesting that he had enough insight to realize that, art, anything that's man-made has that. Although Thomas seems to, because he always has that engineering, architecture type background, so he sees that art, the knowledge and that's preserved from people in the engineering aspect. So.
Yeah, no, I liked that as well.
Yeah. Well, I think Jess's strength, because again, he's not particularly smart, but he thinks differently, as I think was his strength. So he, seeing the statues just kind of has like those little random thoughts which just like spurt out for Jess all the time, like, oh, that's interesting because that or that, like.
But he was the only person in his family who was an active reader.
Yes.
Everyone else just traded the books,
Yeah.
and he was the only one who continuously read them, and because it wasn't from the codex, he didn't get a possible altered version. Yeah. Right? So.
Well, and even before he goes, his father's like, you're going to have to be careful because you know stuff you shouldn't.
Like make sure you only, like when you do your test, only write things that you know are in the codex.
Don't refer to anything that's outside because that's going to send some flags. And then he didn't even have the high score anyway because he's from England.
love that though, because he's like, highest score in England, and then Thomas is like, I don't want to say what my score was. I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, because he got like 550 something, and Thomas got like 900 something.
Yeah. And then Kalila, like,
perfect score.
Perfect.
Yeah,
score.
it was like perfect score, first one ever, and it's like, oh.
I got like half that. Doesn't that make you wonder too? I wondered about that too. I was like, so does that mean that he's dumber than a lot of the other kids from like other countries?
Well, it was also about the studiousness, right? Because Kalia's father wanted to make sure that she studied every day. So, right, she memorized all the artifacts masters by name and date, which is not something that most people would focus on, but she was trained to study.
Yeah, but like if you look at like, so her score is perfect, and Thomas is
high.
Really high. Like they're all like way more than Jess.
And Daria was only like 400 or something, right?
Yeah, so if they're only taking the highest from each country, like, you know, you're not getting the actual highest scores.
Did they specify that it was
per country? They didn't specify that, but there is like there's a drastic enough difference that you would think that there are other families like Kalila's. Not just
where there's probably like a lot of people from there who had a score, higher.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That like,
but they were taking other things into account too.
Of course, but then
because if your family had a band thing, you got automatic.
Yeah.
If you had a gold band, you got automatic. Thomas came from a silver band family, so his was not automatic, but it still gave him a boost.
Not that he needed it.
But okay, can I mean, I love Thomas, okay? Don't get me wrong. Thomas is like, I can picture him, and he's adorable in all his awkwardness.
So adorable.
Did he remind you of Neville Longbottom? Because he kind of reminded me of like a smart Neville.
A bigger Neville.
But I think a more socially competent Neville Longbottom. Because, like, not again, he's still awkward, but he doesn't know he's awkward, whereas Neville constantly trips over himself because he assumes he's awkward, right? But, okay, so they've come back from a war zone, which they knew they were going into. They're trying very desperately to get safely back to Alexandria. And I get he worked on this project beforehand, but why in the hell does he go out of his way to get Santi to send someone to go back to Alexandria, grab his chessboard, bring it to Toulouse so that they can have it? I'm like, really? Of all the priorities we could be having right now in this moment, I get that we have a nice bonding time and it's a neat little invention you came up with, but for what it would take for someone to go find that, bring it back to you guys while you are all trying to get your safe passage back. How the hell did Santi agree to send people to do this?
Well, okay. If your issue was getting Santi to agree, I don't know, but I can understand why Thomas would think that, because that's just his nature, right? Like,
no, I get
here.
No, I get Thomas's motivation. I just don't get how the hell everyone else complied, because he didn't have a way to go back and grab it himself. If he did have a way, it would make total sense.
Does Santi not feel like that kind of guy to you, though? Because Wolf doesn't. Wolf is all like, you know, serious. I feel like Santi is like the counterbalance of like the fun.
Well, I just think, given the circumstances, who the hell did they send just to go do that? And
who wants some exercise?
I mean, the reason that they're so delayed is because they're trying to make those arrangements so that they can get safely back to Alexandria. And that's why they're delayed. So if they're delayed, who are they sending who has that ability, and how are they getting back, and why not just send them all in? Like,
now, quick question,
I don't understand.
Because Jess was still recovering? I don't remember.
Yes,
but that was part of the delay.
But they could have sent, like, some of the people. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like if Jess could come back in one piece from that trip that they were desperately trying to make, or even the idea of, okay, you sent you sent knowledge of where you were stationed and all that so that this messenger could go bring back the chess set. Why the hell wasn't there someone accompanying them who was like, and we're going to arrest Morgan right now because she's hanging out with the cripple kid? Like, was a very sweet moment, but the whole time I'm like, who the hell decided this was a priority?
Someone who loves chess very much, clearly.
I know, and they were all playing, and it was all like, ha ha ha, let's do that. And it was a way to soften the moment, but I was still thinking of who the hell did you send who agreed to go grab a chess set from some kid's dorm room? Okay, it looks like you're pointing at Julianne.
I'm not pointing at Julianne, in the real world.
Julianne, how dare you agree to this? You're not allowed to be in charge anymore, Julianne.
Yeah, that's entertaining.
Also, if you want a clue of how dark it gets, how quickly here.
I'm starting to go.
Yeah. So. Also, I tried to plug my lamp in so I'd have more light, and then as I did that, I realized the bulb is dead.
Oh, that's not very helpful.
I need more batteries in my little bedside lampy thing, as it's dead, not useful to anyone.
Right.
It's like the little reedy light clippy thing.
Mm-hmm. Mine is dead too. I need to fix that. I just end up using my Kindle because it's got a light.
Oh, that must be nice. I have the first Kindle. It has nothing.
Yeah.
No light, no touch screen, no color.
Mine doesn't have any color. I kind of am waiting for them to come up with a Kindle Paperwhite that actually has, like, I'm waiting for them to come up with a Kindle Paper Color. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Kindle app, that's what you use. Anyway.
Digression.
See, I'm not doing too bad for having finished the book yet.
No.
It's just the last 50 pages I can't account for.
Well, and because it's a serial, right, it's like easy to not have to dwell on, like, this was the distinct, definitive end of everything.
Very true.
I feel like I did want more, like, training time.
I wondered about that too. Like, it mentioned
they
like,
only
in his
did
last
a
few
few
months,
things.
but like, I do feel like we missed out a bit on the like actual training, or that it was too short, almost even like.
Well, because they only accepted so many kids to start with, and then next thing you know, they're down to 9, and like that happened really quickly. Really quickly. What was it? It was 30 that they brought in,
and then they got rid of like 4 somehow with like with the first.
And then there was that half. Yeah, but the second one they got rid of like half because half of them wouldn't take a tile.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, off you go. Like, whoa. That's true. I did wish that there had been more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
it went really quickly to, okay, now we're down to our last 7, and we're going on this secret mission that may kill you all.
Mission thing, that threw me a little bit, because like I kind of wish there had been some sort of, and I guess maybe that would have defeated the purpose, but I wish there had been. That's the one thing I wish there were a little bit more like hints that something like that could have happened.
Oh, what they did in the
Did they?
Firma, because you already learned that Wolf had betrayed the library and they were going to punish him.
Yeah, but the whole sending them elsewhere thing, I don't know. I didn't.
I was okay with that because when they said that they wanted to destroy him, sending him to a deadly war zone, and they like pretty much the kids are
that does make
replaceable.
Yeah.
I feel like
that was a suicide mission.
Yeah, like they didn't care if they got any kids or scholars or whatever out of it. It was just, we need to get rid of Wolf, so let's put him in this extremely...
And collect Morgan.
Collect Morgan,
Kill
Yeah. That's true. I was intrigued that they used the, like, traveling thing to get rid of somebody else, too.
Guillaume. Yeah.
They got rid of him.
Yeah.
Well, and even Morgan, like, she steps forward, she's like, that, I saw that. That was
like, that didn't look right.
Well, and Wolf even tells Jess, he's like, they'll get rid of you, too, if they don't want you. They know who your family is, or at least I know who your family is. They knew who his family was, so they got rid of him. They want to get rid of me. I probably want to get rid
Very
of Dean.
Hunger Games.
I did. Yeah.
Very Hunger Games, very 1984.
There you go.
Sure.
And then, like, a not fun Hogwarts.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I don't want to go to this school. Like, the school in Lexicon actually seemed kind of cool, but they were like, by the way, here's Greek fire. You're all going to die. Welcome to day one.
Well, then just what was
This
it? Just
is
like,
not a fun school.
you would have dropped this on it, would you? Not on the first day.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's true.
great.
Yeah, because normally you get these like otherworldly things, and you get the special selection of kids that go to the special school and they learn special skills, and you're like, that would be really neat. I don't want to go to this school. Because the librarians don't have to go to this school. That's only for the special Alexandria scholars.
Yeah.
The other librarians go to another school where I assume they don't try to kill them all the time.
You just become librarians.
Yeah, I'll go to that school.
Scholars.
I'll be that librarian.
Is it worth it? I want
I
to
don't
go
wanna
to
be
this school,
messed up
actually.
Sorry?
To me, this is like librarian meets Indiana Jones. It's the Mummy.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too, yeah.
It's the Mummy. This is what I want to do with my life.
This is Evelyn's library.
I want to be
Yes.
Evelyn. End of Mummy, beginning of Mummy 2.
But not Mummy 3. We're going to pretend that never happened.
Yeah.
That was just wrong.
Actually, I'm going to say end of Mummy 1 because then you don't have the kid.
Yeah.
He was a pretty cool kid.
True.
Though technically, I would really like to be with Oded Fair, who plays Ardeth Bay.
Mm-hmm. See, Rick O'Connell is one of my five.
It's true. Rick O'Connell is great, but I like Ardeth Bay. And he has a falcon. Okay, this is going to take me a minute.
And he has scars. Yes. Near his little tattoos.
Okay, I did not say
Except
that.
he could.
That
The downside is, Caitlin, he can only say one phrase repeatedly. You know this, right? Every time he gives orders in whichever language he's supposed to be speaking, they only trained him to say one thing. So he keeps saying that one thing, and they just changed the subtitles because it was before the prominent internet discussions.
I know it too. Oh, it's gonna bug me. I know it.
So if you're looking for a conversationalist,
No, his English was fine.
oh yeah, he's got much more variety in English. He just,
Yeah, well,
whatever
English.
language he speaks at home, it's one thing.
It will
They
be.
say one line, it means everything.
Hi, Elmo. Hey, hello. What? Odd duck. He was like at some of my chair, starts nibbling on my elbow. Not him. There was a cat, for the people who don't know.
But it was well timed that Kevin was right behind you.
Hey, no.
I've been found out.
Oh no, it's silliness. We have to solve the silliness.
That's okay. Means we're having a good
Yeah.
time.
It happens every time. So no, to me this was the Mummy. I would totally go to that school. It was like Egyptology adventure book training.
It does sound really cool, but I feel like I would be
I'd
one
go
of
to
the
the
people
other
that got kicked
library
out.
school.
I don't think I would have
Yeah.
made it to this one.
Oh, I would have. I'm dedicated.
I don't know if I would have. I just am not sure. I think I'm with Ashley. I think we should go to the other library.
You know why I wouldn't have made it? Because I wouldn't have gone outside into that sun. Like, we need to leave. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. Do you see this? No. Let's just not go into the evil Daystar. I am currently tanned, guys.
Tan?
I know the
What's
darkness
that?
doesn't help. The darkness doesn't help. If you go to the back to the beginning of the video,
Yeah. Tanned? What's tanned? I don't do that.
I don't go out in the sun. It hates me, and I hate it.
Even if I did, I don't tan.
I was in Portugal long enough.
That's fair.
There's a lot of talk about the Americas. Were there any students that were accepted from the Americas?
Guillaume.
Was he from America?
He was from the Americas.
Oh, yeah, that's totally true.
Oh, right, but he was the French descent.
But he was from the Americas,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm like, but his dad was hanging out outside Toulouse. But no, okay, yes. I remember now.
Yes. It's like, what was his name? The French name. So, very French name. The Americas.
I did find it kind of funny how it still has that kind of filter of the European and those damn colonists.
Those damn colonists.
It's true.
Nothing but book burners, the lot of them.
I would never.
Like, history repeating itself. Just in obscure timelines. Eventually, it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at the time.
Yes, it is.
I think we need to wrap up a bit. Unfortunately,
we've actually covered a fair amount.
we did cover a fair amount. I think more on the
around the end.
For me, not even having finished.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so much better than when I didn't finish Hogfather, because I'm just like, I've read 15 pages.
I was going to quickly point out, and I wish I actually have a surprising number of stickies. I wish I knew which one it was, which I don't, unfortunately. The one thing that I did want to point out was I love the way that there was a point where it was thrown in when Morgan was first there. I think it was Kalila who pointed out to Jess that they didn't know much about her, and she called her a blank. And I just love when they things are developed enough in the novel that you can make a totally different reference, like a reference based on the world, and it works.
Yes.
Like, yay!
Maybe
Maybe one little.
Yeah.
I think that's Other stickies are mostly just fun quotes, so we can skip those for now. But yeah, no, I think we've actually covered most things. Wolf and Santy.
Things that I wanted.
I want more Wolf and Santy in the next.
I know.
I think they were quite honestly my favorite part. I hit the end of the book and I was like,
part.
I just you know how some authors do 0.5 stories in between from other characters' perspectives? I want one from Wolf and Santy's point.
I want so bad. I want them so bad. I want their book so bad.
But I think a lot of what makes Wolf so great is that he does have that kind of Severus Snape mystery thing where you kind of think, okay, so he's just the asshole, but then he's not just the asshole, and you're like, oh, he actually cares about things. Aww. And there's a reason for it, because he got screwed over and was trying to do good, and they wouldn't let him do good, and he's being controlled by the system.
Yeah.
Maybe he did the Snape award. I'm going to add that.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go. I have issues seeing Santy as Lily. I'm going to just say that.
That's fair.
No, it's like Snape and Aragorn together, isn't it?
Yeah. Write that fan fiction. Challenge extended.
Love it.
But that's it, because Santy's that no nonsense, but I'm not a total stonewall person. But I'm gonna do my right. I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna do it smartly and strategically, and think about the long-term effects and the people involved as well. And I'm not gonna, let these other things stop me from doing my job ethically. And yeah, he's very Aragorn.
It's true. Oh, that's entertaining.
Alright. Okay, do we want to do ratings?
I'm not done yet, so I can't.
Actually, it's not done yet.
You can give yours. I just.
Okay, I gave it a 4. I honestly had a bit of issues at the beginning for some reason. I think it's just because you're thrown in so drastically, and I was like, this world, I do not understand it yet.
See, I loved that.
I normally don't mind, but I don't know why I've struggled a bit with
I
that.
teetered more during the war zone. That's
same
when
here, actually. Yeah, same here.
It was the war zone where I'm like, let's go back to school.
Guys.
I know things are happening. It's not like there was a lull during the war. They're like, and we're running from this, and these people are attacking us, and we're gonna die. And I'm just like, meh.
But there was still something. Yeah, I was just like,
I had no problem with that.
You know, I gave it a 4 out of 5 as well. More for the war zone, honestly, than for the beginning. I loved the beginning. That, and then for the ephemera, because I did wish that there were some things that we'd been left to discover.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, it was like some of this is super helpful and interesting, and then some of it is like
too much.
Well, now I know.
The past things, like the starting of the library, the allowing of the women, the Gutenberg press, and if they'd continued like that, just that building up of history would be really cool.
I even found up until like Wolf's letter okay, because with that it wasn't too specific, because Wolf just alluded to like you know the things, but then when it got really specific, like
Morgan is an obscurist. Oh, okay.
Well then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now I know what's up. Yeah. Okay, and then I don't know what awards.
I was gonna say, do we want to do awards once Ashley has finished, so we can properly vote, or?
I just threw 4 up there already.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're ahead of the rest of us.
Well, because I think about awards as I read, right? So.
I want to nominate Wolf and Santee for OTP.
I totally am on board with that, because I was going to say, the only thing I want is, like, I want to nominate Wolf and Santee for something, so.
For my one true pairing.
I'm totally on board with that.
Of all the books we've read. Wolf and Santee, OTP.
Yes, because they're so good.
If you're making coffee, I like milk in it. I know.
You're not there yet, Ashley, but you'll get there, and it's wonderful.
Oh no, I just wrote down what the award was. I did say secret coupling because it's again not the in-your-face one.
Mm-hmm.
It was oh look, they're together, and you're like, oh my god!
But I love it when it comes up. There's like no, like even they're really nonchalant about it. I loved that.
I just love
that. So
just that, like bemused look, like, yep. What are you gonna do? And Wolf just like, what do you want? Like, okay, well, this.
Great.
All right, Ashley, what are the other ones you've got up there?
Well, I just added the Snape Award for Wolf. Just his development is very Snape-like in how you feel about him, I think, as it develops. Because he's that stern professor-y person who you think doesn't really give a crap about his students, and then actually everything he does is trying to help the greater good and not the system, but you think he's working for the system. We aren't at Hogwarts anymore.
Yes.
I'm gonna put a T in there. Okay, now it's good.
Hogwarts.
Because again, it's your kids go to school to learn how to do something extraordinary, but this ain't a fun school. I'd go back to Hogwarts.
Oh no, now that song is in my head.
What? Should just be on replay all the time. Come on. Harry Potter musical, just live there. And I also have Mr. Priority for Thomas. And just just like, really? Of all the things. Of all the times. Well done, Thomas. Again, it was a sweet moment. It worked out, but
it was like, really?
Who the hell went and agreed to go fetch that thing?
Fair.
Anything else? Anything near the end that I haven't got to that you would like to commemorate?
I don't know. I almost want to, like, I don't know if there's a way to make an award for this, but they did have a quote about coffee that I absolutely loved. which I do have flagged here somewhere if I can find it quickly. Aha! Oh, that was handy.
The most perfect coffee award.
The quote is that he'd grown up on his father's brew, so bitter and dark that it was like drinking midnight.
The most perfect coffee brew.
Like, so yeah, definitely some sort of award for that. Because I just danced a jig when I read that. I don't know. Caitlin, you were saying perfect coffee?
The most perfect coffee.
Quote?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Coffee moment?
Sure.
Fika! A fika! Yes!
What?
Fika! It's the verb in Swedish to go have coffee with your friends and hang out and stuff.
I'll let you write that down then.
Yeah, that one's on you, Caitlin.
It's a coffee moment. A fika is a coffee moment.
I like it. That's perfect.
Again, I'll let you write that down. I'll say coffee moment, and then you go in and you fix it.
Fika. Got a fika? No. We had fika today.
Nice. I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
How does that count?
We are fika now. Okay, then I will quickly go over next month's book, and we will. So next month's pick is
Mine isn't here yet.
You will read it so quickly. You don't even know. I hope at least. A lot of people have probably read this. We are reading Solace. I know you guys haven't. That's why it's perfect. We're reading Solace by Cale Gallagher for the Parasol Protectorate series because it's Halloween in some countries and vampires and werewolves and steampunk. Okay, so Solace. Alexia Terabati is laboring under a great many social tribulations. First, she has no soul. Second, she's a spinster whose father is both Italian and dead. Third, she was rudely attacked by a vampire, breaking all standards of social etiquette. Where to go from there? From bad to worse, apparently, for Alexia accidentally kills a vampire, and then the appalling Lord McCon, loud, messy, gorgeous, and werewolf, is sent to Queen Victoria to investigate. By Queen Victoria. With unexpected vampires appearing and expected vampires disappearing, everyone seems to believe Alexia is responsible. Can she figure out what is actually happening to London's high society? Will her soulless ability to negate supernatural powers prove useful or just plain embarrassing? Finally, who is the real enemy, and do they have treacle tart? I love it so much.
I am very much looking forward to it.
Let the silliness abound. Abounding silliness shall occur.
Well, at least I have this one, so I should be able to read it before the actual book club day. So this means our guesstimated would be the 25th.
25th.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Weekend before Halloween.
What would that look for, Kayla?
I think that's daylight savings time for me.
Oh, ours isn't until the first week of November.
Yeah.
Womp womp. I'm going to have to remember that. And get messages. Why aren't you online?
Yeah, ours is November 2nd, I think.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
Yay. Okay, so the 25th, 1 week before Halloween, you can get your fill of vampires and werewolves. And bustles.
Yay!
Vampires, werewolves, and bustles. Got it.
Yeah. And I'm going to post a picture of a person who's real, who I picture when reading about a certain vampire. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But I will post it. I'll share it later, I think, so that you guys can not have that.
Come up
in
with
your
our
head.
own picture. Yeah.
Come up with your own picture, and then next meeting, remind me, and I will show you the picture of this.
And then we'll go,
vampire.
Caitlin, what the hell are you thinking?
No, you won't. No, it's perfect. Every last detail. Okay, so see you in a month. Read Solace and other things.
And I'm going to finish this one.
And then check the Goodreads page for her comments and ideas on things. Reviews. Okay. Bye.
See ya.